Again. So we've got the beautiful Staci and Shelby here with us today from Townhouse Music, and they are a licensing company, pitching company. If you guys were at the live event, you may have met Staci. And we're so grateful that you guys have decided to join us today and spend your morning with us and answer some questions. If you don't know, this is a group of singers, songwriters, producers, artists, all creating music that they want to have licensed and figuring out how to get it into that world. So you guys are like the gatekeepers to that, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. And yes, there's a chat. I don't know if you guys can see the chat, but you can see. You don't have to worry about the questions that come in. I'll ask them to you, but you can see that people think that you're awesome and that they're so great to meet you.
Good, because I can barely read them. Oh, wait. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, they're like, it was great to meet you. You're awesome. So why don't we just start by jumping in. Each tell us a little bit about yourselves if they weren't at the live event, to get a little bit of background of how you even ended up here, both of you.
You go first.
Okay. Hi, I'm Staci. I'm a Cancer, and I have had my company, the Talent House, for I think 27 years.
Wow.
I was a manager, and I managed bands and artists for about 14 years and had a lot of success doing that, and started licensing at that time. I also had taken a class at UCLA Extension on licensing and contracts, just so I would learn how to do all this stuff myself. And then the whole entire music business changed, and all the companies started merging. All my bands started breaking up, getting married, having babies, hating each other. And I had to kind of make a decision at the time whether I wanted to go out and find new bands, pound the pavement again, get new record deals. And it just wasn't fun anymore. Yeah. But licensing was fun. This band called the Presidents of the United States of America used to get interest every so often, but they were on a big record label, and so we would lose a lot of opportunities because the record label would overprice them. And all of a sudden, one of my French artists started getting all these little bits and pieces of licenses. So when I decided to stop managing bands, I thought, this is fun. You get to work with 500 songs instead of 10, and you get to watch film and TV and listen to music all at the same time, and you don't have to babysit anyone. So I slowly started moving into the world of pitching music for film and TV, and now, funny enough, we represent all of our old management clients as well.
Of course, because this tables have turned.
Exactly. And it was funny because the Presidents introduced me to Sir Mix-a-Lot at the time, and then Sir Mix-a-Lot introduced me to the Far Side, and then the Far Side introduced me to this hip-hop label, then the hip-hop label introduced me to a management company, and it kind of spread from there. So now we represent artists, some composers, but mostly singer-songwriter artists, songs necessarily, and publishers, labels, management companies, other pitch companies we work with a lot, and we pitch music for film, TV, trailers, commercials, video games, anything. Anybody who wants to buy some music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome. Shelby, you want to just jump in?
Yeah, well, I don't have 27 years experience.
She wasn't born yet?
I don't think I was born yet.
Really?
Yeah, I think my career started a few years ago. I went to school. I see Sam went to Biola too, but we did not know each other. But went to Biola, studied music composition for a little bit, then put a hold on that and got married really young and started a family recently.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, we are baby sisters, pals.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think I just met Staci kind of through a fluke thing from the girl who used to work here. I started as an intern 3 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And just kind of, yeah, worked my way up. And Staci's my boss, and she's my boss.
Mentor.
Yeah, mentor, yes.
I like that word.
Mentor sounds good, my boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good duo you guys have here.
Yeah. So it's been past few years of just listening to all the music that comes in and hearing everything and going to lots of different events and hearing, a lot of our supervisor friends, what they're looking for, what they don't like, following, the trends in music, listening to a lot of radio because that's how you hear the trends, which sometimes the radio songs suck and sometimes they're good. So.
A lot of times the Grammys are on television, and within a week of the Grammys, all of a sudden we'll get tons of requests for things that sound like Adele and things that sound like Neo and things that sound like blah, blah, blah.
Childish Gambino.
Yeah, so it's funny. That's particularly in advertising. They're not super creative because they're getting better about going out and finding music on their own, but it's what they hear.
Yeah, they kind of follow. So along those lines, do you find that there's any other trends that you're seeing besides just kind of like what's popular and then it kind of filters down to advertising a few weeks or months later? Do you see some other trends?
I mean, the big one right now is like the trap sound. That's just kind of
trap drums.
Yeah, that infiltrated just everything in different genres: pop, indie, hip hop, rock. Like it's in everything.
It's hilarious. Well, it'll be some sort of like orchestral Game of Thrones something, whatever piece, and they'll be like, "But can you put trap drums in that?" Like everything. Singer songwriter, can you put trap drums in that?
It's like that.
Yeah, or that big booming drum sound. We're finding a lot of. This has been a trend for actually probably a little while now, but mixing genres. So, and Kanye used to do that a lot more, mixing orchestral with hip hop, or mixing orchestral and rock, or mixing hip hop and singer songwriter, like mixing genres. It's happening, the dance movement, the trap movement, mixing with electronic music, mixing with urban music, or electronic music mixing with rock. We also now, it doesn't have to be an album that has all the same genre. When I was a manager, God forbid a band have different feels on the same record. Now, because of licensing, you can have a number of different feels on the same record because that's better for licensing, and there's a lot more opportunity for radio, so people aren't so, like, you have to be hip hop or you have to be a rock band or whatever.
I think the request we get mostly is the three: electronic, pop, trap. So if you can, the combo of all three is really popular.
And the dark,
dark
moody female, Lana Del Rey. We got a lot of Lana Del Rey, that kind of open space, kind of warm.
And it translates to film really well too.
Yeah.
Covers. Tons of covers, covers that not exact covers, but covers that sound different than the original. We get tons of requests for that, particularly for trailers.
Wow, yeah. So once a month we give them an idea for an assignment, and so we try to cover some of these things. You guys are really hitting the mark of the songs that these students have been creating. Trying to create things that are needed in the marketplace. So you guys are basically teaching the class right here, telling us what we need. So let's see, covers called Flip Different. Okay. What it would be like a day in the life of your working world? Like, how does a licensing agent, do you guys pitch your music? Are you listening to songs all day? Or what does a licensing company do all day? I mean, I know.
Order lots of food and eat a lot.
Yeah. Somebody asked what trap drums are. Trap drums are that big, boomy, sort of echoey drum sound that Imagine Dragons does it a lot. it used to be just an electronic genre, but now that sort of big booming,
fast paced.
not not even necessarily always fast paced. It's just this sort of booming drum sound that's all I know how to describe it.
Yeah.
And Imagine Dragons. Oh, and the guy that, oh God, see, it's going to be one of those things where I can't think of who the artist is. And Deadliest Catch always needs to replace him. Aloe Black, and he does 2 duets with this electronic artist, and that has big trappy drum sound that we have to replace that song all the time. Believer has drums, trap drums in it.
Yeah,
people are saying Avicii or Zed.
Oh yeah, Avicii. Thank you.
Avicii, yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great examples. Oh, thanks for demonstrating that. That's
yeah,
cool.
somebody said big fake drums a la hip hop. Yep, that's basically trap.
Yep.
Fake drum. Yep. But anyway, the day in the life of us. Staci handles a lot of like the paperwork, all that, and then I do mostly listening through the catalog, the new music, all that comes in, different sync opportunities.
I talk to supervisors all day, whether it be on the phone, via email, text. It used to be instant message, which is not as common now. And there might be.
They got rid of it.
Yeah, I know. I know. Don't remind me. I'm still AOL. Thank you. I'm proud of it. But I used to have I still do have like 3 or 4 conversations with supervisors, all day about what they're wanting, trying to figure out what they're needing, as well as going after shows that either we watch or somebody makes a suggestion, or we hear of somebody getting a new job on a show, or whatever the case may be. We also go to screenings, or I go to screenings. A lot of the networks will have screenings every 3 or 4 months, and they'll have 2 hours worth of screenings of the pilots for all their new shows. So we learn a lot of information that way. And then I bring that back. I give the information to Shelby, who, loads all the music into our catalog and starts working on what we're going to pitch. And we also go out to our clients to see, particularly if we have a little time, or if it's something that they want something new, or if it's something hard, we'll go out to our clients and say, do you have a male vocal with heavy metal drums that talks about cars?
And has violin in the background.
And we send that out to a lot of our clients, because you guys or they will always know their catalog better than we ever will. And that really helps also give us ideas and sort of allows us not to miss something that we might just not think of. Sometimes we only have an hour. Sometimes we have to turn something around quickly and we just have to figure it out. And then sometimes we have a little bit of time where people can create stuff. It just sort of depends on the situation. Shelby tags all the music, loads everything into the system, describes everything.
That's why I'm always the one asking for instrumentals.
Yeah.
Because I need them.
It's very important to have instrumentals along with the full version. It's very important that songs are tagged, songs have an artist name. Doesn't even have to be a real artist name. It just has to have an artist name attached to it. And it just kind of depends. I do all the billing. I do the licensing. Sometimes by lunch.
Yeah, that's a lot of hats to wear. And when you touch on instrumentals, do you guys pitch instrumentals only, or do you pitch the instrumentals that are attached to the actual song just without the vocals? Like, do you represent artists that just have instrumentals?
Yeah, definitely.
Not as many.
Yeah, not as many, but we always try to pitch instrumentals when we're pitching songs, just so the supervisor has for editing purposes.
Yeah.
And there's been cases where the supervisor got both and ended up using the instrumental. there are situations, particularly commercials, that want instrumentals only, and we don't have that many artists that are instrumental artists. Most of the artists have vocals. We don't represent a lot of straight electronic music, therefore, club music and stuff that doesn't, unless it has some sort of vocal. It doesn't have to have words. It can have
some sort of like background vocals,
la-las or hums or, you know, non-lyrical vocals. We get requests for all the time.
Yeah.
But we don't get a lot of requests for instrumentals because the problem is, in a lot of licensing cases, especially for television, they don't want to pay for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll have a composer do it. They don't want to pay for it.
I've heard a lot of supervisors say that too, that if they're going to spend, you know, $10,000 on a song, they want to pay. You're paying for like the vocals and the lyrics, essentially, not so much the sound, because you can have somebody just compose it, same thing almost.
Yeah. And
I also find that instrumentals only, sometimes, not always the case, but sometimes they don't move enough. There's not enough movement in the song.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to stay a little flat, and most people want movement too.
Right, which is why sometimes the instrumental of a song works really well, because it has those builds built in.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Question from Sam here. He says, question for Staci. At the 2-day sync conference, I asked one of the soups how much music they place that comes from an independent producer or musician artist versus coming from a licensing company. And they said 98%. So most music they use unless it goes to the licensing company. Do you find that to be true? And the artists you have in their catalog, are they exclusive?
We touched on it a bit, Sam. I remember you from the live thing. You know, the supervisors are getting much more paranoid, to be honest. They're much more concerned about finding someone on iTunes or finding somebody on CD Baby and licensing a song and finding out that it has a sample, you know, or the artist doesn't control all the rights in some way or another. So a lot of supervisors prefer to go through somebody they have a relationship with. They might go directly to an artist if they have that relationship, but in the long run, they want to go through a sync agency or a publisher or a label or, you know, somebody that they have some sort of relationship with. One thing that I've mentioned before is that you have to understand too that particularly if it's a popular show, you know, Grey's Anatomy is always the example I use because Grey's Anatomy and that particular supervisor got really well known for her music choices. So everybody and their brother is sending her music. You got to figure that every publisher is sending new songs, every label is sending new records, every artist, CD Baby now has their own pitching entity. In Grooves Distribution has their own entity, like, you know, every us is pitching. So she's getting hundreds and hundreds of emails a day, plus like mailers and flyers and invitations to shows, and they just don't have the time. So they're going to go to the people that they know are going to send them exactly what they're asking for, because they don't really care about every brand new song or record that comes out, because they don't need that for Grey's Anatomy. They need what they need. So yeah, I would say in most cases, you're going to get probably more value if you're with somebody who has relationships. And I mean, we don't have every relationship. You know, I probably have a great relationship with ABC and NBC, but maybe I don't have as much of a relationship with Fox or something. You know, it's all about those relationships. And no, we don't make people be exclusive. As we work with a lot of other sync companies in partnership, we work with publishers, we work with labels, so it's impossible for them to be exclusive because they have people pitching too. The sync companies that we are partnering with are pitching too. So no, I don't make people be exclusive, which a lot of companies don't like that. Not supervisors per se, but there's a lot of sync companies that don't believe in that. They believe people have to be signed with them exclusively. And it's just because I come from management, I don't believe in cutting off people's opportunities, especially because there are no guarantees. I can't tell you that I'm going to get you something. I can go years. There's clients, and we have that, like, it shocks me. I think this is a slam dunk. We're going to get something. This is no problem. And we don't. And I don't want them to not have an opportunity somewhere else. And I don't also want to take credit for something that I had nothing to do with.
Yeah. I think that's super fair, and that makes a lot of sense. So that comes up a lot, the difference between going exclusive or not. And I think one of the questions, and we might have touched on it in the live event, is people are worried that if they're not exclusive, that music supervisors look poorly on that because they're going to get it from two different places. And so we talk about this often. How do you respond to something like that?
Sometimes they might. Yeah, sometimes they might. And some supervisors don't like that. But then there are other supervisors, again, particularly one at NBC, where if I send her something, she'll say, oh, just so you know, Catch the Moon sent this to me already. And great, and that's because I have a really close relationship there or something, and she'll say that. Mm-hmm. Or I've had situations where they say, Bicycle Music sent me this record a year ago, but you sent me the specific song for the specific place in the show. So I'm calling you about it, because just because somebody sent me a record a year ago doesn't mean that they get it first. And then some people, just if somebody sends them something at that particular moment and it fits, that's who they go with. It's just, it all kind of depends, it really depends. But again, I've probably only in the 15 years that I've been doing this, I've only run into someone else that I know of twice. And we just split it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty remarkable for only twice, and people make it work. And all the opportunities that it afforded you versus those 2 times that you worked it out is interesting. I want to open it up for Q&A. If people have specific things that they want to ask, and then we're going to hop into songs and talk about what's working for sync and what's not from these songs. So feel free to ask your questions here, and then we will pop on. Thanks for asking this. And also that they loved your philosophy, which I do too. And I think that coming from the artist manager side, that's what you want. You want to sign with somebody who really gets you. So John says, do I understand correct that CD Baby sync department may not be the avenue to go?
I don't know much about that.
Here's the thing. No, and it's not I don't know. We are CD Baby's indie, if that helps any. I don't know. And they're super cool about like figuring it out and like there's certain things where we have to kind of adjust our commission because of what their commission is. They don't try to screw the artist or anything. They don't, it's a big company. So it's not like they're not an independent company like us where it might make it $100 might make a difference or not, so they try to work it out to the best of their artist or whatever their deal is. But CD Baby has 5 billion, zillion, million, trillion songs. Mm-hmm. So that would be my only thing. Like sometimes when I'm asking, they're really good for us when I'm asking for stuff that's really weird, or unusual or complicated or difficult, like the thing that Shelby said, earlier, like, the urban song with the background vocal of female with a male vocal with a trap drum with a violin or whatever, they will have that weird stuff sometimes and be able to pull it because they have the metadata for everything. But sometimes it takes him a while to respond because he's got a lot. And so that would be my only concern, that how exclusive is their situation? I don't know. I know people who sell through CD Baby. I know people who check off the box that says that they are part of CD Baby's sync department, but I don't know if it's an exclusive thing, because there are clients too. So I wouldn't necessarily do something exclusive with a company like that, only because you're one of millions. I mean, and it's no negative against them. It's just, I don't know. It's the same thing as I tell people who sign publishing deals. BMG Publishing might flash what seems to be an amazing check in front of you, but $50,000 is not enough to sell your retirement plan. Songs are your retirement. Songs are your pension plan. So, you get songs in even the littlest Teen Mom, Love and Hip Hop, whatever MTV things, to the big stuff. That stuff airs forever and ever and ever and worldwide in perpetuity. So inevitably, it takes maybe a few licenses to make that 50,000, and then you keep getting that back end. Whereas BMG owns you forever, and again, or until you recoup. And again, BMG then is a wall of probably too expensive, so that you're not going to be able to do all these little weird bits and pieces of things that you might want to do. You might not be able to do the co-writes that you want to do. And also, BMG's working Drake, or working, I know that they just signed Jack White, and they just signed blah 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 blah. Yeah, the Raconteurs. But they're trying to make their money back first. So you, as like the regular songwriter guy, unless you get a Beyonce song, or unless you get something substantial, you might not get paid attention to. So I think that answers the question, sort of.
Yeah, no, that definitely answers it beautifully.
Can't talk too much.
You don't have to answer this one. They say, what percentage of licensing does the townhouse take? Is it different for everybody? Do you want to answer that?
It's different for everybody. We are usually around 25% now. We started at 15 years ago, and we finally just went up because it was kind of ridiculous, because we were so much lower than everyone else. Most companies are anywhere from 25 to 30 up to 50, which I think is atrocious. Yeah. But there's a lot of companies, that are going 50. The 50 and 60 is what I feel is kind of crazy and ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, that makes sense. Tamara says, I realize you pitch for lots of reality shows. Do you go about negotiating fees when most cable reality networks try not to pay any upfront fees, sync fees for placement, since they believe they offer exposure?
It wouldn't behoove us to license songs for anybody that's not paying upfront, because then we would be working for free.
Right.
So we don't pitch for things that don't pay upfront.
And do you have a favorite type of music that you like to pitch?
It changes every week.
Yeah. I like just about any type of music.
She's way more open-minded than I am. I'm more music snobby.
Well, when I met my husband, he's really into hardcore. And so that was like my least favorite. And I ended up getting into hardcore music.
And she came to work here, and we used to manage a lot of kind of hardcore punk rock bands from Kansas City or from Seattle, and she knew who they were, and I was shocked. I'm like, but because her husband used to like that kind of music.
Right. But I mean, I would say I like just about anything. I can't stand like super techno stuff anymore.
Yeah, maybe sorry, anybody electronic.
I know, and now it's maybe just like the mom brain or ears.
I need words. I need lyrics.
Yeah, I really like anything with that kind of electronic in the back, just a little feel like indie electronic. singer-songwriter with an extra little oomph. I like really dark, moody stuff. That's just my favorite just because I like to listen to that. But anything good, I like.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the song.
Yeah.
You know? It depends on the song because there's all kinds of things where there might be a song that jumps out at us and we aren't really pulled in by everything else on the record, but this particular song just sucks us in.
And because everybody's on that 80s hunt right now too, so I kind of like listening to that cheesy 80s music.
Oh yeah.
It's fun. Makes me happy.
Yeah, but everybody's starting to ask for 90s covers now, and the 90s were bad for music.
Early
so bad. And that was my most successful management period. So yes, I admit it. I was part of it. But
you don't want to hear it again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, I like a little bit of everything. When I'm not working, I tend to lean towards talk radio.
I do the same, totally. Like, just give your ears a break.
Yeah. But the thing that's so great now that's different from when I started is satellite radio. I mean, I can jump around from talk radio to the college station to Broadway to hip hop to old hip hop to K-rock to whatever. And it's kind of cool because now finally I'm not just listening to Muse every single day, which is basically all I ever listened to when I was outside of the office because I didn't really like anything else. Now I'm, listening to all kinds of stuff from what they're playing on the radio to weird stuff to.
And even like when we get like a really good band or something, I'm like, oh, this is great. I'll put it on her iPod to listen to it.
Yeah.
The really, really good ones.
Yeah. I mean, so it just kind of, but then there's a couple of bands that on my last trip, she put on my iPod. Everybody makes fun of me.
I mean,
and there was all these really great songs, and then there was all these songs that I just didn't really like that much. So the thing is, it's about a song. It's about what grabs you, and that's the whole point. That's the whole thing. Is that, and I had said this story live when we were in the event. There were times when I started, you had to burn CDs for supervisors and you had to messenger them. And there was a Toyota commercial and we made 3 CDs compilations for her. We thought, we have this, we are geniuses. Like, we are so rich now because we are getting this Toyota commercial. And the supervisor called me and said, did you even read my description? Yeah. And we were heartbroken. First of all, I thought that was really rude. But second of all, we were heartbroken because we looked at her description and we thought that we nailed it. So it's whatever.
Every ear hears it
differently. Everybody has a different opinion of what rock is. Everybody has a different opinion of what electronic music is. So it has to hit the supervisor's ears, and then the supervisor passes it on to the editor, and then the editor puts it in for the producer and the director. It goes through so many people that, it's about your relationships to get it listened to, but also it has to hit people the right way. So, I mean, look, we have music that we pitch that I absolutely can't stand. We have a black death metal band called Venom that I feel like dirty just even listening to them. But I've licensed them like 3 times and like have to like cleanse myself each time. So dark.
Right, but it just goes to show like it's about aligning to the opportunity and there's so many things that have to align, and it's not just your opinion, and it's it's not just like one person's opinion, it's so many. And like we interpret things differently. So often we'll post like a search and we'll say, rock music, and then people will say, what did you mean by that? And it's like, well, we mean the same thing. Like, your interpretation is just as valid as our interpretation because it could be different from the supervisor's interpretation of it. Like, we just do our best.
Yeah.
I have so many questions. I'm just gonna
I'm looking
here. I'm like, whoa, it's like 30 pitches. 30 have come in.
Personally, BMI. Personally, BMI, and that's very different.
Oh, interesting.
It's very different than what I would have said 10 years ago.
Oh.
ASCAP is the Association of Songwriters, Composers, and Producers. ASCAP was always the songwriter, indie rock songwriter, college radio station organization. BMI is Broadcast Music Industries. So BMI represented radio stations and the corporate side of things. So a lot of country artists and urban music did really well with BMI because of radio, and a lot of indie music did really well with ASCAP because of ASCAP. And ASCAP had these awesome offices where it was like posters all over the walls and music playing, and looked like a radio station, looked like a college radio station. And you could actually reach somebody on the phone and get them to take you out to lunch and schmooze you. And BMI wasn't as accessible. Once the internet became a thing, and once iTunes and all that stuff started happening, the whole economy of it changed, and BMI was one of the first to kind of really start to get internet radio down, and internet jukeboxes, and cable television in particular. And then BMI made it a lot easier for poor artists to sign up. With ASCAP, you have to join as a writer, and then you have to start a publishing account. You have to get a bank account and get a federal ID number. And BMI lets you do everything under your own name, writing and publishing. It's much easier to do that all online. You don't have to, start a business entity, which can be complicated or can cost money. And now BMI, I have a composer who works on a show called The Deadliest Catch, and he's BMI and his writing partner is ASCAP. It's 50-50. And the ASCAP guy, every time he gets a statement, is 20% less than the BMI. I mean, that's the first time.
Whoa.
And about 5-6 years ago, that was the first time I was really able to see back-to-back equal. They're both in, and the difference that they pay, because otherwise you can't understand those statements. They don't make sense. There's no.
Wow. Yeah.
And so Ed, the ASCAP guy, wrote a letter to ASCAP, pissed off, saying like, look, my writing partner's making 20% more than me. And ASCAP doesn't necessarily want you to hear that, and ASCAP paid him the difference.
Wow.
So that he wouldn't leave ASCAP. So now every statement they compare on those particular cues, and they pay Ed the difference every single time. But it's stupid that
yeah. And most people don't have that comparison. So,
right.
You don't know. That's fascinating. So
now now both of them are hard to reach. Now both of them are huge organizations. I think BMI still is much better technologically, and I still think BMI is a little bit better for a person to sign up for. So I kind of am always lean towards BMI now.
Wow. Yeah. And people are commenting that's really interesting information. They're thinking of switching.
Chelsea, you can only look right now if you're serious about it. It's very difficult to switch. You only can change organizations during a very short 5-week period of time, and there's certain steps you have to go through. I don't recommend necessarily people change and move their songs. If you have stuff out there in the stratosphere, you can lose money, but you just need to be aware of the difference. And the person who knows somebody on the board, I don't think it's like it's not a choice. It's just however their systems pay. CSAC, for example, has the ability to do better deals with Discovery Channel and History Channel and because they're a smaller organization, so they go to each network and they do whatever the performance deals that they do. I don't, there's probably other things, bless you, there's probably other things that ASCAP pays better on, but it's the accounting for these organizations is very difficult. It's really hard to tell who's paying you what and why. I just feel like now the bottom line is BMI is easier to sign up, and you can sign up under your name, and that, is a plus.
Wow, that's great. I'm really glad to get that lowdown, and to have that comparison is really unusual. Somebody else said that they had something similar to that. I want to hop into songs, and just so that we make sure we have enough time to get through them, I emailed you both the links, and if you want, I can put them in the chat. I'll put them in the chat too.
Yeah, CSAC is known to pay more, but it's a private organization. You have to be invited to join, and not anyone can join. I don't know. I've had people that they were chasing after, but we just didn't feel like what they were presenting us was enough to change from BMI. And yeah, ASCAP, the ASCAP Expo is amazing. That's what I mean. ASCAP was always very artist oriented and songwriter oriented. So yeah, I think I can still talk without you.
You what?
Oh no, I was talking to Shelby.
Okay. Did you get the email? I'll post it in the chat too. The first song.
Let me see here.
And this is We Go Loud from Kaylee Ann.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, hold on. You do. Oh, there you go. Okay, so We Go Loud. Hold on, it's opening.
Slow down. You gotta let it think.
I don't like to let it think.
Like, well, come on.
I know. It's so funny because Max and stuff like move much faster, and I'm like, you guys, stop pressing the button.
I'm not used to working AOL.
Oh, whatever.
Okay, so I'm just gonna listen to how we
listen to the songs as you guys would listen to a song, and then give feedback based on, like, is this something that you would sign, or that you feel like has, does it need some work in order to be pitchable, or is this, what do you guys think?
All right.
And honest feedback is, of course, really welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Let me do.
You just press pray.
I was trying to
pray.
Here we go. All right. Raise the volume, love is all you need to speak your mind. Pick it up. You're beautiful, just hit the button, turn it up.
I already know.
We go loud.
You can jump.
We say it loud. Loud. I was starting, but we on the room.
I see her.
On the room.
Yeah, I mean, just even the intro is really, yeah.
I mean, it's perfect for television in particular. It's perfect for
Commercials too.
Commercials, and there's sections of it that
It moves really nice.
yeah, that move quickly, and that you can repeat those sections. So it's good for Apple and things like that. It's good for those. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember those old Target commercials where it was just like a silhouette and it was somebody dancing. Are you?
No, I remember.
Okay, good. And it's also really good for all the MTV shows.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah.
And it has a certain feel to it, which is nice too.
And there's some drops. It kind of goes up and down, which is something that we look for. A lot of times, I mean, again, it might be a song we like, but if a song is sort of stays even throughout, it's sometimes harder to place, even if it's a good song, because they want movement. They want something to edit to.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I muted myself. That's awesome. So I'm sure people are going to ask you if they can email you, and I don't know if you want to give your emails out or if you want them to email us, and then we can maybe email you some songs that are good. Do you want us to be kind of the buffer, or do you want to, however you guys do it, however you want to do it?
Whatever, I don't care.
I mean, Stacy usually just sends me whatever she gets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't. You know, people can send us stuff, or if you want to get everything and send it, or if people want to send us stuff over time, you know, that's fine too. I have no
Just,
problem.
if you're fine with giving your email, you can do that. I just don't want to put you on the spot if you're not.
Yeah.
Just don't send us 5 million paragraphs and 20 million songs.
Yeah, and I don't care about your picture and your bio and everything, and not a million attachments. Put your songs in like
into one link,
one downloadable link. WeTransfer, Box, Hightail, Dropbox. We use them all except for SoundCloud. We really don't like SoundCloud that much.
Well, I like it, but people always forget to make it downloadable.
Yeah. But so, I mean, yeah, this is exactly what we say as well. Please don't, when emailing us and sending. So it's good. We're all on the same page. Okay, next song. Oh, did I post it? This one is from Jacqueline, and it's called Born to Be Me.
Oops, sorry.
How come? Oh, it's I like when
I can see it in your eyes. Want to be me.
Yeah, I would say even just at the end, just maybe blow it up a tiny bit more, just a little bit more at the very end.
Yeah, it kind of builds a little, but it doesn't. It could probably build a little more, but even so, it again, same thing. It would really, really work well for commercials, and it would probably really work well for the MTV shows. And funny enough, there's a little slight darkness to it where it might work for something like How to Get Away with Murder, or some of the shows that are leaning sort of electro indie rock. And there's something else that just left me that
Well, I also think just the lyrical content too is pretty. It has like a theme, which people, especially commercials, usually want a theme. And can kind of be translated to other stuff too. So I think it works well.
Who was asking for kind of weird, off-kilter, and I don't mean that offensively, like not straightforward? Oh, Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, actually, yeah, Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy just, they just literally sent something out.
The new one too.
The new season, asking for kind of things that are slightly off kilter, not sort of straightforward singer-songwriter anymore for this season. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Thanks. That's great info. Okay, next one.
Oh, I've actually.
Taylor. It's called Used to It.
I feel like we got this first search a week or two ago, and I've been pitching it a few times. So I really liked it.
Oh, this song?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Who is it?
Slide out my bed in the morning, think I got it.
Oh, yeah.
My head.
I think I pitched it for Grey's Anatomy.
Cause I love you, but I don't know if I
And
love
this one in
you
particular
right.
has a lot of sort of sections that build and then go down and then build and then go down. It's got a warm vocal feeling, but it's also electronic, so it really works for television right now.
And it doesn't have the I like the vocals a lot.
Yeah.
It's not your straight, just kind of pop clean. It kind of has that little
It's kind of has a more indie feel to it, but it's still poppy. So it would work really well for television.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think we sent it for Grey's Anatomy and Riverdale or another show too.
Wow, awesome. Well, you guys are like, you guys are knocking it out of the park with these songs. I mean, they've really
good job.
Hard, but like basically, you guys are like, yeah, we love that. Yeah, that works, which is great. Okay, sorry, I just posted another one. Next one, this is Faris, and it's just like you do.
Comes crashing down. You always do.
Yeah, I like it's really good for Deadliest
Dadly.
Catch. Well, most dads watch it. Deadliest Catch.
Also, we get a lot of they haven't been doing the same campaigns. You might remember this, Sonnet. They haven't been doing the campaigns now for a while because they've kept on the same campaign for a while. But we used to do all the commercials for Subaru every year, and it's perfect for those kinds of commercials, like the Subaru one with the chocolate lab that gets old, and the Subaru one where the dad is giving his car to the daughter.
They're driving to the ocean.
Yeah, or they find the man that's blind that takes them, to see the city, and like it's perfect for those kinds of life
and
commercials.
Actually,
yeah, right.
Because every once in a while we'll get the request for like an acoustic guitar, and for some reason not many people do acoustic guitar, I feel like, anymore.
That sounds like acoustic guitar.
That sounds like acoustic and isn't like super I hate life kind of thing. That one's really great.
I think that's also why the Lumineers did well, because they were an Americana band, a country band, an Americana band, but that also kind of could work on alternative radio that got played on K-Rock, and so again, it's sort of like being on the edge and not being specifically one genre, but being able to meld into something else. And I think that one also has some movement. So
yeah,
and it's really warm.
This Is Us. They're always looking for
I didn't even think of that.
Singer-songwriter, but that has not just a straight pop singer-songwriter
and not just straightforward folk singer-songwriter. That actually is perfect for This Is Us.
Guys, I have such great feedback here, like real, technical examples, which is
you're so smart.
Okay, last one. This is from Sam. Devil Let Me Go.
Oops, sorry, lost my mouse. I don't like your computer.
I like it.
I was upset.
I'm flirted with the red-winged one. I've been so
yeah.
We get.
I was like something I can tap my foot to.
We get requests for that feel all the time. I mean, literally three times a week. We need Swagger, Black Keys, Jet, White Stripes, Raconteurs, and that's actually perfectly fits into that category.
Yeah.
I like the vocal on that. It's not too perfect and clean, which is what people are cleaning up their vocals too much now. With electronics, everybody's trying to make everything sound so perfect.
Yeah.
That's the thing too, is I think the vocals are a big one. You can have somebody emailed me the other day and said, "Oh, I'm thinking of switching the vocals."
I think he might be.
I forget.
Yeah, I think
just
he
saw-
might be
yeah.
on the chat.
It wasn't.
No,
I
look.
forget who the name was, but and the song itself
Mark.
was Mark. Yeah,
He's gonna be up. He's here.
the song itself was really good, and the vocals were good, but yeah, even just throwing in a different, like, kind of harsher, just not so clean sounding vocal
Yeah.
makes a huge difference, and that's what everybody wants to. Nobody really wants the, like, really enunciated, clean stuff anymore.
Clean, pristine.
Yeah.
The thing is the vocal on this song that Mark was asking us about is great, and it makes it lean towards really a pop song. But what Shelby said, if we can put a different vocal on that's a little bit more,
It opens the door to more genres.
lived and dirty and not so clean, then you have one song that fits two different categories.
Mhm.
And that's always nice, particularly for licensing.
Yeah, so that's why I like this song. It's a good one, especially for what was I just thinking of? Oh, I can't
We
remember.
also have a client,
Beer commercials.
oh yeah. Yeah, well, we get swagger requests all the time. But we also have a client, he'll make a song and he just sent a note saying that he was going to put a female vocal on it too. And he has this one band that got licensed, funny enough, for tons of American Girl, the Dolls movie. And then with his vocal, it's on his band's rock records.
Wow.
Because they sound completely different.
Right.
So,
People often ask, like, should they have vocals done by two? And if if it's the right song, then it makes sense like that.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
yeah.
Well, your feedback has been more than, it's been amazing. You've given us shows that these songs work on, really specific feedback that pertains to right now what the industry is looking for and how these work. So if people want to get in touch with you, what would be the best email that they can email you at that is, that is good for you guys?
TheTalentHouse@AOL.com. And everybody don't send everything all at the same time, please.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Be respectful. Send as you actually have what you guys need. Awesome. Well, we're hitting our hour mark. I want to let you know. I know that you guys are very busy, and you taking the time to be here and do this technical video chat and figure it all out for us and spend the morning with us and answer your questions we're so grateful, and I love you guys. And it's so nice to see you face to face, Shelby. And we'll see you guys really soon.
I know. She's usually just behind the computer screen. I don't let her out very often.
Or behind the baby. Either way.
Yes, with throw up on my shirt.
Hi, Tamara. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody's saying thank you. And I know that this is, everybody's just extremely pleased with all of your feedback.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
Thank you. I appreciate
Bye,
it. Good songs. Thank you.
Yes,
that was great.
thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you soon. Don't